Afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to PBTV. Again, we're carrying on and finishing off this week with another new product. Well, a old new product. We've not had these in for many years, not seen them for a long time, but we've managed to get a select few in. So I thought we'd finish the week off and have a really good Friday and have a look at the WE-CAC PDW Gas Blowback. So there's a couple of different variants of this one. There's a long and a short. This is the 10-inch variant. But if you've been looking at these, you've seen them online or you've seen them at game days before, if you've got any questions on them, please drop them down below. We'll flash them up on screen and try and answer it as quick as we can. If not, I'll start at the front and work the way back, and I've got a few other bits just off camera just to show you what this thing can be tricked up and look like. So, at the front, the flash hider on this one is a little bit quirky. It is a 14mm counterclockwise, so normal in that regard, but it does have two different sort of covers on it. There's a standard cover on the front, which is clockwise, and then if you turn it back the other way, it will then counterclockwise turn all the way off, and then you can put any different adapter, trace unit, anything you want on there as standard. With it being the 10-inch one, you do have a slightly longer barrel out here, so it might look a little bit funny having something massive on the front, but if you want a little trace unit like a Spitfire, that will look perfectly fine. There is a shorter version. Currently we don't have it, but the shorter version just stops right on the end of the gas block here. As you can see, it does have the golf ball effect style outer barrel. Again, steel parts in the majority of this with aluminium sort of accompanying it, but the barrel itself is steel. Going through this, there are a lot of steel parts, and it is a small platform, but it is just over sort of 2 kilos, like 2.2 kilos with the Stanag mag fitted and no accessories. All the golf ball effect is just a little bit of weight saving. As I've said, it is over 2 kilos, but with it being a PDW, sort of a personal defense weapon, it is sort of been designed to be as light as possible. But yeah, 2.2 kilos on something this compact is actually quite nice and neat, and with it being a sort of monolithic upper and a metal body, it is all sort of structurally sound in the center, and the weight is dead center because you've got the reasonably heavy gas blowback mag in the center. Coming back from that, we have the Moss gas block and the mock gas tubes inside. Can't get my words out. And you will notice that the front sight is actually on backwards. That's purely for transport, we presume, but normally it would be the other way around, just so it's a bit close to the front. It doesn't make any difference which way around it is. I just think it's a little bit more awkward to get to it, having to reach past it and flick back. If it was flicking forward in your normal grip, you'd just be able to flick it straight up. So I would flick that round personally when I got my hands on it. The rear sight, again, just a normal push-pull up and down, but you will notice that there is a raised section of riz here. So again, people that wear full face, lower mesh masks, dye masks, any sort of walk helmet or something like that can't quite get a full cheek weld onto a stock to get eyes through a low mounted optic. You do have standard riz. As you can see, they've done more cutting in the riz to weight save as well. You do have a built-in riser, so it might look a bit funny, but you can move this around. Just because it's where the rear sight is doesn't mean it has to stay at the back. So you could put this in the center and put your optic on there by all means. What it does allow is your rear sight as well. You could put a low mounted T1 on this, still be able to shoot through the tube, or you could put a high mounted T1 at the front and again still be able to see through it, and if your battery dies or anything, it would still all function and you'd still be able to aim. Reaper, how many sling mounts on this one? So it is a quite quirky system because they're all sort of on one side but yet ambidextrous. So on the left hand side here there is a QD point just at the back on the left side, and there is one directly at the back as well. So you could single point QD into the back, or you could 2-point left and right. There is also a sling point on the back of the stock here. So again, you've got multiple options for dropping this on a sling. They are all QD, so you will need the button type things, but you do get one of the QD sling points like so. If you're wanting to 2-point and put something towards the front, you will need one of the RIS adapters readily available. There's plenty of them around, and then you could hook something to the front and then hook one to the back and have quite a long 2-point sling. So, as we were talking about controls, as you can see, it is going into safe. That's because this is racked and the hammer is back. Normally, as with all gas blowback and with real steel counterparts, if the platform is not racked, it will not go into safe. It is just one of the sort of safety precautions that are built into most firearms that you can tell quite quickly whether or not it is loaded or not. As for other controls, mag release on the right hand side, and there is a mag release on the left as well, so that is a fully ambidextrous system. Pulling the mag out, we have the Stanag style WE magazine. You do have the ability to pull a switchback to be able to dry fire if you just wanted to test a few things out. In the box as well, you get the PDW style magazine. So you do get 2 mags with this, both 30 rounds plus 1 in the chamber. It means that you can get a gas blowback platform, have a little bit of fun, CQB or outdoors with 2 mags. Just saves having to budget for extra bits. Obviously, when this is empty, it will lock back, and you do have the paddle on the left-hand side to be able to put the bolt forward. The right-hand side, the fire selector on this side does have the cutout, so again, you're not going to foul it if you're just indexing your finger and you're not actually on the trigger. Sometimes when these are full-size switches, you might foul them and switch it between semi and full auto, etc. With this, if you are indexing, there is the little cutout to prevent that. The charging handle does have the extender on the left-hand side. It is quite an easy thing to rack this as well, with it being the style of bolt inside here is quite lightweight. We did chrono it before, and it is quite warm today. So with ultra rare and things like that, it is a little bit hot. So what we are recommending is sticking down so your sort of Vorsk white gas or things like that. The ultra rare and the red gas and things like that, they were hot for about 3 rounds, and with it being quite going into the summer, I definitely avoid them because you're probably not going to be able to use them. M-passes are available afterwards, so you can adjust the FPS if you have one of them fitted. But currently, even though it is a PDW and it's essentially quite a short barrel inside this, it is kicking out a hell of an FPS. So sticking to the white gas, we managed to get it under, and it was around sort of that 340 mark just on white gas as well. And that was on this the Stanag mag and the PDW mag. They're not different powers, they are just different looks. Coming all the way back to the stock, obviously we mentioned the QD sling point at the back, and then there is a button that simply folds this all the way over, and the sort of top hat that's on there is where it clicks in. So as you can see, this is an exceptionally compact platform. Obviously a personal defense weapon, it's meant to sit at your side and just deployed very, very rapidly. Again, straight out and you are good to go. Rack and you're going to have a lot of fun with this. It is quite an impressive platform to fire. It kicks really, really well, really, really hard. Stands up to the sort of standard M4 platforms, but again, really, really short. ODST, what's the weight like and the weight of its mags? So overall with this mag, it's about 2.2 kilos. The PDW mag is negligibly lighter, slightly lighter than the other one. You probably won't notice when these are in your rig or anything like that. This one does fit a little bit tighter. The Stanag mag will drop out of its own accord, but the PDW mag being plastic, there is a little bit of friction behind it. I did bring out one of the Armourer Works just to show that it fits, but the Armourer Works 350 round drum mag will also fit. So if this is what you're looking for, you can get the 350 round Armourer Works mag. Just drop that in and then you can run around all day and just have a bit of fun with that. Winds at the front, simply wind there, fill it from the left hand side and gas at the bottom. So if you are thinking about that, this is the equivalent of having 10 standard mags, maybe more, maybe about 11 standard mags actually. So that is also an option. Again, it's just one of them things. End of the day, you can't be bothered carrying all your kit and you just want to run around and have a little bit of fun in that last game and not really care about anything else. Throw one of them in and you will definitely have a lot of fun. So we did mention the 40mm counterclockwise thread. Behind that, we do have a 6.08mm barrel, which I think having a non-tight bore system that is pumping out the FPS that this thing does is exceptionally impressive. So M-passes are definitely going to be a serious consideration down the line. It is a 260mm inner barrel in this one. So if you this is the 10-inch version. The shorter version will probably have a shorter barrel as well. Danny, is the gun based on a real platform? Yes, I do believe that the PDW was produced. So the PDW is not a platform, it is a sort of range. So it is a personal defense weapon, sort of P90s, things like that. Anything that is exceptionally small, compact, concealable, and can be rapidly deployed. for example, bodyguard details and things like that are where this would definitely be considered. I also think that the real version of this wouldn't have been 5.56. I think it was a different caliber as well. But yeah, it is an exceptional bit of kit, and I think it's got pretty much every feature you want without the excess weight that some big, heavy M4 or SCAR platforms have in the same sort of vibe. The main things that I do quite like about this, well, the upper receiver is a monolithic system, so the entire upper receiver is one piece, and even the rail systems are part of the metalwork as well. So there's no removing it or anything like that. It's all part of it. So you've got RIS on the right, left, and bottom, but the top RIS, as I said earlier, you can see that they have cut the center of it out. Doesn't change how well things attach or grip to it or anything like that. It's just a way of just removing a slight bit of weight. That's what the golf ball style cuttings are in the barrel as well. They've done everything they can to try and keep it as lightweight as possible so it can be sort of concealed as well as possible. But if there's any other questions, please drop them down below and we'll try and get to them. If not, steel barrel. I've just mentioned the RIS on the right, left, and bottom, and the cutout RIS at the top. Reaper, is she heavy kicking? Yes, I was very surprised of how hard this thing kicks. Again, when I first tested it on like the ultra rare and the sort of potent stuff, it was a little bit too powerful for most sights. So you're definitely going to have to drop down to like the Vosk, sort of the Neutral White Gas or V6 or something like that, or even Duster Gas at some point. But it does mean that this thing will still perform in winter and everything like that. You're still going to get some power out of it, and it's still going to be really, really good. Even just a little bit of gas and chrono in it, it punches, it hits, and it's really, really good. As with all gas weapons, that is on semi-auto. Full auto is going to be a very, very different thing. You're going to get cool off a lot more, and you're going to suffer a little bit with cooldown on the mags. Owen Paul on Facebook, is it heavy? Also, what's the gas efficiency like? So this thing's coming in as it stands with this mag in it at 2.2 kilos. Gas efficiency, you're going to get through a mag. Basically, all I can really say, I've not tried to do the actual BB count of it, but you are most likely going to get through a mag. And again, you do get two mags in the box. You get the PDW style mag and you get the Stanag style mag as well. Both are 30 rounds and both have the dry fire switch on it as well. If you want to go a little bit heavier than that, the Armourer Works 350 round drum mag does simply drop straight in, and you could just run around with that if you wanted. Again, gas at the bottom, fill it from the side, and like high caps, you just simply wind it and you're good to go. It just gives you an option that some people might like. So rail systems as well, as I've said, the rear sight has the built-in RIS riser, so the rear sight does flick up and down, and then there is a small RIS section here if you're wanting a low mount of T1, or if you wear a big full face mask, you can have a high mount, move this around, and you've just got one included. The stock does fold over and go click straight onto the top hat. So again, CQB, I know some people like to fold the stock and run around crazy and get it fully compact as much as possible to get around them doors, but it also means it does come deploy very, very quickly. Sling points, we've got two different QD points at the back here, one directly on the back and one on the left hand side, and then where the little dongle is here, we have another QD one there. There is one QD sling attachment. Obviously this could be moved around, but again, the actual sling points themselves are all QD. Tom James, what's its range like with such a short barrel? Is it an indoor gun? With the power that's coming out of this, the barrel length and everything like that, I wouldn't consider it to be a sole CQB platform. Obviously, it is a PDW, it is a compact platform, so it is definitely leaning towards that. The thing with gas blowback platforms is they are very much at the mercy of the weather. So if you're going outdoors and it's cold, it's wet, and you're going to suffer cool down more, so you're going to lose a little bit of range. With this thing, because of the power that this thing can pump out, it's going to counter that a little bit. On semi-auto, I do think this is going to definitely be a contender outdoors. It's not going to be, it's gas blowback, so it will never be as efficient as an AEG or consistent or HPA or anything like that. But you've got the kick, you've got the immersion, you've got that feel to it. So I do think it can contend. It's probably not going to have the same range as a lot of AEGs, but you're going to have a lot more fun with it, to be honest. especially if you've got a drum mag in it and you can just run around with just this. And the fact that it comes with 2 mags as well lets you step into that gas blowback platform without having to blow too much budget on it. But this one does have the 260mm barrel. It's not a tight bore, so again, your grouping might be a little bit different at range, but very different from most gas blowbacks. This actually has a rotary style hop that's very easy to adjust. There's no tools needed. There's no breaking the receiver and having to go inside to do it. Simply racking it back, you can access the rotary style hop system that's in here, very similar to an AEG, and adjust it on the fly. Again, with it being a rotary style system, it's going to be locked in place. It's going to be very, very, very consistent. It's not going to adjust as you fire it, even with the recoil that this thing pumps out. I think it's definitely going to be interesting to see these outdoors. But yeah, honestly, it probably won't compete with some AEGs. It will reach out, but I think your shot-to-shot consistency won't be the same. But again, it is a PDW. You are quite lightweight. You can move fast, close the target, and just put a couple of double taps on it, and you'll definitely have some fun. But if that's everything for today, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for all the questions. It makes it a lot more easy for me. We do have a very limited amount of these, so if you do want one, definitely jump on it. But we've got them in, so we definitely wanted to show them off. We don't see these very often. Very few and far between, but it's always good to see them. So that is it for this week. We'll be back again on Monday with another product showcase. As always, something you want us to look at, drop us a message on Instagram. If you like what we're doing, please subscribe to the YouTube, hit the bell, drop us a comment. You'll get notifications every time we go live. You can join the conversation, and we can start talking about all the cool stuff that we enjoy doing. But if that's everything for today, as always, it's been a pleasure, and I'll see you in a bit.